Texting and driving. Ho, 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 what a hot topic. You know, the National Transportation Safety Board has just recently announced that they want all the states to ban the use of wireless communications while someone's driving. Well, how do you feel about that? Yeah, I'm sure there's some people who said, we ought to do that. Other people say, well, you know, you should do that, but not me because I think I can do it. All right, well, I have to tell you, I am in agreement that we shouldn't have any wireless communication while we're driving. We're just asking for trouble. And why is it? It doesn't matter, understand, if it's by a Bluetooth or some other technology that's hands-free, because what occurs is not necessarily what's coming, whether or not your hands are being involved, although that certainly is a distraction, but it's what's going on in your mind. You know, that's what's filling the void in there. And you're getting questions. Even other people that are in the car who are on their cell phones having some conversation, your mind's trying to fill in the blank with what's going on instead of what? Paying attention to what's going on. Granted, most driving is done at the other than conscious level. Okay? And most people have not consciously or been well trained enough to learn how to identify the traps, how to create the space, and how to keep that space, because otherwise we wouldn't be having all these collisions. But the fact is, this additional element of wireless communication devices, where people are communicating, talking with each other, texting, any sort of thing like that, where the driver's mind is automatically, by its very nature of that communication, distracted from being able to paying attention to what's going on, puts everyone who's driving at risk. Because they're thinking, well, you know, I've done this thousands of times and never got caught. That's probably true. It's just like the guy that drove drunk many times. He got home, well, he thought he got home. Wherever he ended up, he didn't think he hit anybody. Okay? And maybe he did and maybe he didn't. But the fact is, you're setting yourself up for a collision because you, by doing that, by just doing that, you are immediately taking your ability to respond to the traffic scene out of your mind. Okay? I mean, that's just what happens. All right? So you are not really able to do that. Do I agree with the law? Look, laws only work if people are willing to obey them. It doesn't matter what laws are passed if people don't obey them. What's probably going to be the real answer to this problem is if the automobile manufacturers and the cell phone companies set it up so that automatically when you're in that vehicle and that vehicle's moving, you can't have wireless communication. That's the only way it's going to work for us. So do what you want, choose, but the problem is, if you're using wireless communication or you're allowing it to be used when you're driving and it's becoming a distracting element, you are setting yourself up for a collision. Whether you want to admit to it or not, that's what's happening. If it's that important a call, if it's that important of a conversation that you have to have, then find a way to pull off, get out of the traffic, stop, park, and have it. We lived for decades, generations, without those tools. We can still continue to live, and we'll be a lot better off without them, especially when we're driving. Okay, enough of my rant. And remember, when you drive, practice like your life depends on it, because it does. And hey, subscribe to our channel. Maybe we can help save your life.